my female cousins whose mom is now dying of cancer, pancreatic cancer. I'm sorry their mom's dying. I am. It's my beloved aunt. But compared to the life my mother and I led, my mom led, this woman, she would admit it's blessed, lived a wonderful life, and so have her daughters, okay? Complete antithesis of my life, of my mother's life, whatnot. I believe I must have been 9 there. 9 years old. Want to know why my hair's short? My hair is short because I caught lice from the little girl next door who was 13. She's the same little girl who taught me about sex. I'm not going to spell it out. Her 13-year-old brother, her name was Mary Ann. Her 13-year-old brother's name was Russell, whatever. He used to pay me in little trinkets to show him to strip for him naked. I don't remember him touching me. I think he just looked. But I was just a little girl, you know. If you want to think about who I was as a little girl, think about Dakota Fanning in the movie Hound Dog, a wild child that nobody was paying attention to me. My mom and her abusive alcoholic boyfriend turned husband would encourage me and his son, Andy, I was 9, he was 7, you know, to play spin the bottle and kiss and make out, and, you know, I mean, I was a wild child, I was whatever, but the reason that was the only time in my life I ever had short hair, because caught lice and had the bowl thing. My mom put the bowl on my head and just cut it across. But that's the only time, and the only picture in the past that you'd ever see me in short hair, okay? I've had long hair my entire life, and I intend to have long hair, you know, because I want to. I like my hair long. But this was the only time, and it was because I got lice from the girl next door. Only time. I was 9. Sweet little girl, but I was getting it at home and getting it at school. I don't know how I don't know why I'm still here. I mean, that's the only time I ever had short hair in my life. Like the video previous to this one, this little girl, despite being abused, despite all the shit, this was prior to my mom getting sick, remember? My life was bad enough before my mom got sick. Although, I mean, it wasn't hell. It's not like I wasn't being, like, molested on a daily basis. I wasn't being beaten up or abused. I mean, I was getting it at school, but, you know, not all the time. And I mean, I still found pleasure or joy, or I had Mandy the Pekingese, and I wrote songs and poems, and I was a wild child. I would be alone, and I'd be alone in the backyard, and I have a poem. I have a rock, it's in my yard, it's sort of large, sort of small, sort of large, something like I write on this rock, I think on this rock, I don't know, I forget, I have it all, but in my storage unit. I was a wild child. I was, you know, I just did what I wanted. I mean, nobody was there to really, I have no idea, just like those kids in that documentary Bully, I don't know why the kids tormented me. I think because I was an easy target. I was shy and sweet and didn't fit in. I was smart. I was, you know, dealing with the abusive alcoholic at home, and we were dirt poor, and, you know, I don't know why kids are so cruel. Kids can sometimes be more cruel or crueler than adults. But I know when you watch a documentary like Bully, where this is real, these parents lost their kids because their kids couldn't take the torment at school anymore, and they killed themselves. one was only 11 years old. I think even younger kids sometimes have killed themselves over it. I don't know. I told my mom about this, about, things like that, and she's like, yeah, I'm glad you never did that. I've been through too much in life. That's why the titles of my latest videos, because Mary and not just Mary and my rest of my family, they just sit there in judgment. Walk a mile in my shoes and then you can judge me. Walk a mile in my shoes and then feel free to judge me. I shouldn't even still be here. Okay? This little girl would cry because the older boys, the 18, whatever, would burn the bugs in the backyard, and I would watch them, and they would laugh at me if they'd laugh at the little blonde girl Karen about them burning the bugs, They just would laugh at me. Just like I think when I was 7, I stumbled across the pond. The older boys, probably teenagers, were throwing a big bullfrog up in the air and catching them, throwing them up there, catching them. I yelled at those boys, and they laughed at me, of course. They're just gonna laugh at you. Go away, little girl, But then I wound up being so filled with anger and rage and hatred that, I never killed anything, but I wound up hurting my little animals. Shocking, huh? That I could be such a caring person, but, no matter how caring you are, I guess you can reach your breaking point. You can reach where, and I still hate myself for that. But I see it. I see it so clearly. I see why even a good little kid can turn vicious, can turn evil. I see how little kids can kill themselves because they're being tormented at school, and sometimes the adults in charge don't care. They look the other way, or they just think, oh, they're just, boys will be boys, and they're fighting, or they're whatever, they're kids, let kids be. No. The kid threw a rock at my head, a big rock, and the adults didn't care. Yet when I took off from school in disgust because the adults didn't care, and I was a smart little girl, I'm like, fuck, thinking, you don't care, what kind of... But then they cared that I took off, and I got lectured. You can't leave school, you can't leave school. Oh, but it's okay for him to throw a fucking rock at my head, right?